Well, here we are. What's going on, people of the internet? It's Justin with Event Horizon Photography. Hope everybody's having a great almost midweek. Almost midweek. It's Tuesday night. I don't keep track of days anymore unless it's a weekend. That's one perk of having your own business. If it's not on the calendar, then you don't know what day it is. So I don't have any shoots this week. Um, so I don't have to worry about what day it is, which is nice. But I do have shoots to catch up on, but those are all going to be caught up before Saturday, which is the Illinois State Fair races. We've got Silver Crown cars. We've got the Bettenhausen 100 on Saturday. We've got ARCA on Sunday. I don't like it as much as USAC for obvious reasons. I mean, these are just concrete guys throwing on mud tires and some mud flaps, and then staying straight the entire time like it's concrete. Just bumpy concrete. That's what it is. They don't really get sideways often. Back in the 90s, I watched an ARCA race with my dad. I was up in the stands. Obviously. I was like, I don't know, 10, 12, something like that. But we came to the Allen Crow 100, and we watched it from the stands. And it was the first time I'd ever seen something that looked like NASCAR on dirt. But man, back then they threw sliders. I mean, they were like, they weren't pissing around. It was a lot of fun. But yeah, this weekend, State Fair. We've got the Springfield Mile, the famous Springfield Mile, that you should check out. They're day races. I mean, you can't beat a day race. Drivers meeting at 10 a.m. each day, I believe, and we've got practice from I think 11 to 12. I haven't looked at the exact schedule. One thing I do know is I always show up at like 8 a.m. and I'm just there all day. And then by evening time, I am exhausted, sunburnt, covered in mud, and happy. It's one of the best weekends of the year, in my opinion. If you can make it out to the state fair races, you definitely should. It's there's I don't know. There's just something about it. I think it's magical myself, but that's speaking from somebody who's standing literally feet away from cars that are going really fast by your head. So yeah, I'm looking for. I'll know what days those are. I just don't know what day it is today. So end rant on that. So what's new in the racing world? Well, oh, what do we have here? We've got a very derogatory comment made against Bobby Pierce about Bob Pierce. I'm not going to name the guy's name, and I'm a little bit late on the bandwagon here, but yeah, a keyboard warrior decided he was going to toss out some bad mojo on Bob and Bobby, talking about Bobby's racing performances, and the comment is repugnant enough that I'm just not going to read it, but it's right up here, so check that out. Um, this really all falls back on don't say shit in comment sections that you're not willing to say to people's faces. On top of that, this guy went viral with his comment, and I mean viral. He made several posts apologizing. He also made a post saying that his account was hacked. And it's kind of strange, that your account was hacked by someone who knew about dirt track racing. And, your cover photo is Trey Mills, which has nothing to do with Trey Mills, by the way. Trey, you're the man. You weren't hacked. You talked shit and you got caught, and people called you out on it. And this is why you should be careful what you say in comment sections. Don't say shit that you're not willing to say to people's faces. It's that simple. It really is. So pretty much all I got to say about that. I told him, this was on a group on Facebook. I told him to give him a mulligan. I was like, give him a mulligan. He's apologized for it. Let him move along. People did not give him a mulligan. They did not give him a mulligan at all. It was not even close to a mulligan. So the internet did what it did. They retaliated by saying just as bad, if not worse, things in his inbox, and probably scaring the living hell out of him. So you live and you learn, right? I mean, you know, it is what it is. So, in other news, a couple weeks ago, the entire racing photography world went into an uproar about this photo and said everybody started jumping on the hi-vis vest bandwagon, um, you know, preaching like it is Bible scripture that you need to wear hi-vis at the racetrack. Well, I don't disagree. I would suggest everybody do it. Um, with that being said, does everybody do it? No. Do I always wear a vest? No. I'll wear hi-vis. Um, I'm wearing sometimes the same shirt that the infield officials are wearing, and I will take my chances because 9 times out of 10, if a freak occurrence happens, the only thing that's really going to assist that vest is going to assist is these, somebody that is flying out of control can actually, highly visibly see what they're hitting, you know. So, which I'm not trying to downplay the importance of safety on the track because it is very important, and when a track requires it and they ask me to, even if they don't, depending on the race, I'll wear my high vis vest. It ain't no big deal to me. My biggest thing is in the summertime, I wear as little layers as possible. So if I can wear a shirt that is high vis with reflective on it, um, I don't really think that I have to zip up a shirt or zip up a vest to make it compliant. Um, but, overall, I think that safety should be at the forefront of everyone's minds when they're down there. Should they stand as close as this man was standing? No. Hypothetically, would I stand as close as that man was standing? Yeah, probably so. In a very small window of time, and it would have to be certain drivers on that track. You put Brandon Shepard out there on that track, I'd stand there. You put RTJ out there, I'd stand there. You put any of these World of Outlaw or Lucas Oil guys out there like that, I'd stand there. You put David Gravel out there or Rico, anybody because it is an open wheel scenario there. I'd stand there for a minute during hot laps if I knew they were going high. That car was not going high, so it's questionable. It's questionable to be standing there at best. But yeah, you should be safe down there, and you shouldn't do that. I mean, like I said, I would do it, but I wouldn't. Everybody wants to. One of the biggest things that attracts people to doing trackside photography is the rush. When I first started, my heart rate would get up to like 130, 140, just on adrenaline alone. And I was addicted to it. I loved it. And then I got used to being down there. So, nowadays I'm rolling around and my heart rate's like 60. Just another day at the track nowadays. But when you first start, there's that rush that you get. Um, and, doing things like this is a very big reason. Um, I mean, it's not a reason, but it gives you that rush. By God, if something goes by you that fast, and you're that close, you're gonna feel it. You're gonna feel it down your soul. So, yeah. But with all that being said, and a little bit of a rant, a little bit of opinion, when it comes down to it, the smartest thing to do would just be to throw on a vest, even if it's over your sleeveless shirt. I mean, if we're using logic here, it's not going to hurt you none to wear one. Um, and if the scenario comes into play where a driver can see you because of it and breaks and it saves your life, that makes it worth it. So wear your high vis vests. But at the same time, everybody got really jacked up about that on Facebook a couple weeks ago. I know I'm late on all this, but that leads me to my next topic, which is my Part 107. I am certificated to fly a drone now under Part 107 commercially or civilly, as they say, which is awesome. Previously, I thought I was. But what I did, because back in the day, when I first got my, I'm rolling with a Mini Pro 3, Mini 3 Pro, Mini Pro 3. It's a 3. It's the 3 of the Mini in the pros of the DJI variety, okay? And as I was working one day for Apple, I wanted to get it registered with the FAA, become compliant, do all the things that I needed to do to make sure I didn't get in trouble. So I jumped onto the FAA website. I jumped into the IARCA website and registered my drone, registered the remote ID, um, and then I took the Part 107 recurrent. Now, when I say recurrent, that's the test you take when you want to re-up your 107 after you've taken the initial. Now, I didn't know this at the time, and I thought that I was legal. So, what happened is I've been flying. I fly pretty much every race to get I just want like one picture for the gallery cover photo because I think it looks really cool. But with that being said, at Prairie Dirt Classic, I did post them for sale because I found my 107 certificate in my, well, actually somebody else found it because it fell out of my drone bag at the Illini 100, I think. And a friend of mine brought it to me the next day, and I look at it, I'm like, oh, I am 107 certified, so I guess I can sell these things. Well, no, I wasn't. It was a big lie. I was lying to myself. No, but I did a little bit more research after being reported to the FAA, and I found out that I needed to go to a testing center and take the initial to get my drone certificate, my drone pilot certificate. It's not a license, it's a certificate, just to be 100% down the line about everything. So we got that sorted out today. I jumped in. They called me last week and let me know that I wasn't compliant. And after, I told them what I had. I told them what I thought I had. And they're like, no. You need to get actually certified because you're not actually certified right now. And I'm like, okay, well, that's scary. And thank you for not, being meaner than you could have been. It helps when you're polite when they give you a call. I'll just tell you that right now. Hopefully they never give you a call. What I would suggest you do is if you're flying your drone for anything other than your own personal needs, personal photos, personal video that you don't post online, you don't make money off of, you don't put it on your website, you don't put it on your blog, you don't put it, anywhere, you just keep it in albums at your own home, then yeah, fly your drone. Fly your drone for personal reasons. There's other rules to that, but I'll leave that to you to look up and figure out and do on your own. But with that being said, if you're going to put it up for any other reason, just go ahead and go get your Part 107. Plus, when you go through this training, it's actually really awesome. I mean, you learn so much more. And I would venture to say that this has made me become a better photographer with a drone as a result, because there are rules in there that I didn't know that allowed me to do things that I didn't know I could do. So there's only benefit from getting your drone pilot certificate and operating under Part 107. So if you can do that, you should do that. So why did I segue into this? I don't know. I forgot. I think I forgot. But anyway, that's what happened to me this week. And, well, I tell you what. I was reported by someone. I know who that someone is. And, it's... Actually, let me back up a little bit. The rumor mill told me who that someone is, and I suspect who it is. I don't know 100% because they haven't come out and said it. So, yeah, I don't know 100%, but I suspect I know who did it. And it's fine. It's not really that big of a deal. It made me a better photographer. It made me a better drone operator. It did not cease my operations. I'm not sure what the motives were of the individual or individuals who decided to report me were. But if they were to stop me, they obviously don't know me very well, because when things like this happen to me, they serve as a motivator to do better and to be better at whatever it is that I am currently doing. But I won't quit. within the bounds of the law and within reason. Within reason. So, but with that being said, I was talking with a photography buddy of mine this evening. We were just shooting the shit about photography. They initially messaged me asking. They were like, "You seriously got reported to the FAA?" I'm like, "Yeah, I sure did." And we just started talking about the ins and outs of motorsports photography in general, and people, people. So, and there's something that I said to him that I found was something that I tend to live by. I don't know if I can even pull it up. Am I on Facebook here? And I'm not going to name his name. He's just a friend and a fellow representative of the media at the tracks that I go to, and we see each other often. It's always fun to see him out there. I will tell you that it's a he, but that's all you get. There's a lot of us he's out there. I'm just saying. Okay, so. Oh, there we go. Okay, so this is all coming. Okay, this is all coming back to mind now. All right, so why I was reported is irrelevant, but that segues me into photography, cinematography, motorsports photography as an art. Okay, so there are a few different types of people in this industry. There are people who this is their passion. It's something that they are driven to do because they love to do it, because they have a general love for the sport. They have a love for photography. They have a love for art. They have a love for a beautiful shot when they make it, when they see the results. That in and of itself is the reward. And I am one of those people. Money to me came in secondary. I didn't come into motorsports photography with the presumption that I was going to make millions of dollars and retire off of it. I mean, if anybody does, you're fooling yourself. I mean, unless you work really hard, which I do, and I do make a living at this point. But going into it, I mean, I did it because I love being in the infield. I did it because I love racing. I did it because I was in a transitional period where I was stopping alcohol and starting to associate things in my life with sobriety, and I had to do things to promote that sobriety. And there's no better way to do that than be in the infield of a race. I mean, you shouldn't be drunk down there. That's a terrible idea. But anyway, I digress. I jumped into this because I love to do it. I genuinely love it. I'm going back to the World 100 this year, not because I think I'm going to make money off of it. I'll probably end up net loss. I don't care. I love going to the World 100. I love going to dirt track races. I love everything about this. It's great. To me, I don't work a day in my life, even if I do end up net positive. But just, I make enough to make a living. I'm not going to divulge what I make, but I make enough. I do well. For a freelance photographer, I do pretty damn well. But with that being said, there are people in this industry who are only worried about money. And you can tell it in their work. And I'm not trying to get on some soapbox or act like I'm some sort of a photographer messiah or anything like that. But one thing I can tell you is if the passion is there for the beauty of the work, you will see it. It will reflect in their work. It will reflect every time you see them. They will be excited. They won't be, all serious and fuddy-duddy-ish. They're going to be excited to be doing what they're doing and being where they're at. That's where I am every time I'm at the races. I'm excited to be there. I'm excited to do things revolving around motorsports. And you'll never see me without a smile on my face unless I'm sneezing. I mean, I'm always happy. I never work a day in my life when I'm doing motorsports photography, even when I'm making money. So, but so about 80% of the people in motorsports photography are amazing people. I've met some of the coolest people of my entire life doing motorsports photography. And it's too many to even name. I mean, if I sat here and tried to name them all, I'd miss someone and they'd feel bad. But with that being said, there are a couple people that I didn't name at the PDC that I should have named first, and that's my buddy Austin Campbell, my buddy Landon, and my buddy Brian from UAMP Motorsports. So you guys are kick ass. I'm sorry I didn't name you in that last video, but you were part of the slideshow at the end. So my apologies. You guys are awesome. Um, so anyway, back to what I was saying. 80% of the people that you deal with at the dirt track in terms of media are awesome, amazing people that share that passion and that drive to be at the track and to do what they love. And then you got the 20% of people that are there for money, and they're there for status, or they're there for whatever their motives are for being there is not necessarily what I would call pure. And that's just for the joy of, the joy of being there. And if you make money, you make money. They're solely there for profit. It shows in their work. When you see mediocre work out of somebody who's been around for 15, 20 years, probably more, they're doing mediocre work because they're in it for the money. So, and with that being said, at 20% of people are mostly assholes. I'm just gonna tell you how it is. 20% of the people in the motorsports photography business they're assholes. They don't want to talk to you. They don't care about you. They care about one thing, and that's their wallet and or I guess their status. I mean, I don't know. Some of these places are faceless. They are faceless, meaning when you see them at the track, they're almost like ghosts. They don't want to talk to you. They don't want to develop relationships and friendships. They're there for one reason and one reason only, and that's the almighty dollar. And I think that is a very sad way to exist. That 20% of people are also the people that will do everything they can to see you fail, especially if you're showing that you're happy about it. If you're happy about your job, if you're happy about what you're doing, if you're enthusiastic about being out there are some people out there, sadly, I hate to say it, but sadly, there are people out there that want to see you fail. And they like it. And that's just the horrible truth. And that's not just in, motorsports photography. That's just in the world in general. I learned that 80-20 rule, not only from Hamburger, but from my high school principal. He used to be a drill instructor. His name was Mr. Dwyer. And I didn't listen a lot in high school, but I did listen to that. We had an assembly where I was part of the 20%, by the way, in that situation. But it wasn't because I was an asshole. It was because I was a troublemaker. We had an assembly, and he told us that 20% of the people ruin it for the other 80%. Now, I'm not saying these 20% of people ruin it for the other 80% of us down there at the track, because they generally don't. They can make our lives a pain in the ass at times, but when it boils down to it, nothing, and I mean nothing, is going to take away the passion and the love that I have for what I do. Everything that comes in my way in an adversarial standpoint is a road bump. It is a road bump. That's it. Speed bump. I guess I should say it right. A speed bump to an otherwise fruitful and happy relationship with motorsports photography. So don't let that 20% of people take away that passion that you have to see the beauty in a well-composed, well-lit banger of a shot that comes out when you're editing. And you're like, man, that is an amazing shot. Don't let them take that from you, man. Because if you let them take it from you, you may as well be working a 9 to 5. And you don't want that. I mean, if you really wanted that, you'd be doing it. And you might be, and you might just be doing motorsports photography on the side. Not everybody is as blessed as I am, but I'm doing it full time, and I will never, ever let the 20% of people who are only there to fill their pockets take away the wonder I have for this sport and the absolute love that I have for this sport. This is the one thing that I've done in my entire life where money or no money, I'm going to be there. And money or no money, I'm going to love what I do. And you couldn't ask for any more out of life than that. And no, it ain't all sunshine and rainbows. Sometimes it's a dirty ass, hot, humid July night where there's no wind and between races. The races are your only fan, which fan you with nothing but dirt. Sometimes you long just to be a normal person sitting at home watching Roseanne reruns on Netflix, wherever they have Roseanne Netflix these days. She got in trouble. But, there'll be some nights you just wish you were a normal person. But there's also nights that just outshine all of that, and it makes it all worth it. Moments, sometimes mere moments, that make it all worth it. So don't let them take it from you, man, and don't become commercialized or institutionalized, because that's what some of these people are trying to do, is institutionalize dirt track racing. And you know what else got institutionalized that ain't so much fun these days? NASCAR. So, I mean, you know, the last time we had what I believe is a good NASCAR race was the last race that Dale Sr. raced, because he made the institution look amazing. He didn't give a shit. Well, I mean, he did. I mean, it's a figure of speech. He gave a shit, but he went out there as a rabble rouser, as a troublemaker, and he went straight to the top doing it. So, he took the institutionalization out of NASCAR, flushed it straight down the toilet, and he gave people something to believe in, you know. So, but after that, it just went straight. Like, I don't know. There's some people that are, diehard NASCAR fans, and don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to dog on your sport, but we can't really compare dirt track and NASCAR. They're just apples and oranges, because I feel like dirt track has a soul, and NASCAR just doesn't. I'm sorry, it just doesn't. I mean, ARCA borderline has a soul, and it's barely there because they're willing to get on a dirt track every now and again. But I'm not saying that it's fully intact. It's definitely faltering. But yeah, what I really don't want to see is this sport become all about money. I know that money has to be involved, and I know people got to make their money, and I respect that. With that being said, if you take all of the love and the soul out of this sport and you replace it with a dollar bill, you're going to fucking ruin it. That's all there is to it. So, with that being said, we're reaching a half hour on this rant. I'm going to let it sit where it stands. I'm not sure how much. I always leave room over here to put shit. I'm not sure how much stuff is going to make it over there, but we'll see in post processing, because I'll be working 4 or 5 hours on this video afterwards. But anyway, yeah. Just to recap, that 20% of assholes, you're not going to stop me. You're only going to drive me to be better than I was yesterday, which I'm already doing. You'll influence me to do that much, much faster if you try to get in my way, because I will become compliant. Whatever needs done, I will do it, and I will continue doing what I love, and there's nothing you can do to stop me. So, best of luck. Everybody take care. If you watched all the way to the end, I am absolutely surprised by that. But if you did, I commend you and thank you. I appreciate you. Everybody have a great rest of the week, or whatever day of the week it is you watch this. Have a good day. don't lose your passion, and don't let them take it from you either. Sayonara.